Good morning, welcome back to User Personal Trainers. It's a little bit dull here today, but I'm afraid if I put the light on I'm getting glare on my camera, so if you can bear with me today. Just going to start off with a little chat about a few people have asked about food consumption and fluids. Obviously, yes, very important as part of your weight loss goal, is for those of you that are doing that, but equally as important for those of you that want to perhaps add a little weight or tone come to that. So I just thought I'd give a few minutes chat on foods. Obviously, majority as probably really it's not pretty much rocket science, is about portion control. Portion control being that the average person's fist is, if you imagine that on your plate, a sheet plate like that, that's kind of a portion. Okay, so if you use that as a guide, this is what I've always been told, and it tells you that on the internet, lots of different sites. You can use the Eat Well plate, which is another guide. But if you're out and about, you can't always carry an Eat Well plate or the information around with yourself. Using your own fist heaped up like that, as if it was on a plate, that's the size of a portion. So when it comes to carbs, proteins, fats, that sort of thing, you can use that as a guide. The only time really that it doesn't really matter is when it comes to vegetables and salads. But obviously, just be careful of added dressings, which contain hidden calories, salts and sugars that can add to that. So I hope you'll find that useful, and that when you're out and about, you'll think about that. Obviously, those of you that want to weight gain, obviously, it's about getting those extra snacks in between, but the right snacks, proteins really. You can get like beef jerky, those sorts of things. Nuts are really good because they're high in protein for you as well. But obviously, for those that want to run on a deficit, then obviously it's about reducing your calories and increasing your exercise. Okay, so I'm hoping these exercises that I'm doing with you, you're finding useful. And if nothing else, it's just passing a few minutes of your day. So with that in mind, we're going to, I'm just going to reposition you, so it might go a bit wonky for a minute, so just bear with me. I'm just going to put you back onto my stand, if I can, without making too much of a nuisance of myself. There we go. And that slip my stool underneath me. Okay, so as I say, and don't forget, obviously we talked about foods and obviously about hidden sugars in diet pops. So, if you can replace it for water, I know it doesn't taste the same, but you'll feel the benefits long term, because it's about keeping hydrated, especially during your exercise. And at the end of the day, your body is made up of a majority of water, and you need to replace that. So it's very important. Majority of people, especially as we get older, don't really have enough fluids, and it can sometimes your thirst can very often be mistaken for hunger, and that's why we often end up piling on those extra calories. So a little bit of trivia there, but I hope you find it helpful. And we're going to crack straight on with a few gentle exercises this morning. So we're going to sit up tall. We're going to pull those abs in. Okay, pull them in. Just feel it in. Just suck them in. Hold them for a few seconds and release. We're going to start off with this one today. Put your hands on your stomach. Feel it pull in. Feel it pull in. Not necessarily holding your breath, because I'm still talking, so I'm not holding mine. So it's just pulling the abs in. Just hold it for a few seconds and release. And you can do this wherever you are, whether you're sat at a desk, whether you're in bed, whether you're lying down and relaxing with your partner. Nobody needs to know you're doing it. You could be walking in the street and doing this. Just pull it in for a few minutes. I was going to say a few seconds. Hold it for a few seconds. Don't hold your breath till you go green. Don't be that silly. But just hold it for a few seconds and release. And just keep doing this, and it'll help over time it does help. And we're doing this, for those of you that are a gentleman, just widen your stance a little bit, widen your knees apart. As you can see, my hands are on my knees. Can't see my knees in the picture, but then between, just go down between the legs, just touch the floor if you can, and if it's safe and comfortable to do so. For those of you that have balance issues, might not be such a good idea, but you can stabilise yourself by touching the floor and coming up. But target your core, pull your core in, dip down. Okay, so target your core, pull that tummy in, hands apart, palms to the floor. Palms to the floor. I'm just going to demonstrate a few of these I'd like to do as normal, 10 of each, and then repeat them at least once or twice if at all possible. But remember, should you get any discomfort or pain, please refrain from doing so. Those of you who've got joint issues or back issues, just be careful. But, if necessary, if you're not sure, please seek GP's medical advice, or your district nurse, or whoever comes into your regular, or make that phone call to a medical professional before starting, just to make sure that it's safe for you, because we're all individual and we all have different needs and capabilities. Okay, so we're going to crack on now. We're going to do some knee raises. So we're going to come up as far as we can and tap those hands. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. There we go. Sorry about the picture not being very clear today. I'm going to say it's quite dull in this room I'm in today, but when I put the light on, it's casting lines throughout the picture, which I'm sure you don't want me to look like I've got a ray of sunshine coming through my head. So today we're having a bit of a brightness issue, but hopefully you can still see what we're doing. You're going to cross the hands in front of you. Again, pull the chest in, sit up nice and tall. We're going to rotate from one side to the opposing side and back to the centre. And again, repeat. Back to the centre, to the side, to the centre, to the side. And keep repeating those. Say 10 of each, please, and then repeat at least once or twice if you can. You should feel that. You might feel if you tug in and you put a bit of pressure on your hands, you might feel it in your arms and your shoulders. But you should feel that twist in your core more important than anything. Because we're trying to just twist the torso. Work on those abs. Keeping us stable. Very important to have a good back and good abs. Reasonable muscles on, because it helps with stability. Especially as we get older, we're more likely for tumbles and stumbles. And like me, I have a lot of health conditions. I have sciatica and back issues, but I try and do a little bit of exercise first in the morning. Not everybody can do them, I understand that. Not everybody is good in the mornings. Sometimes I'm not so good, so I do my videos later in the day. But when I'm doing them, I do these exercises myself every day. Sometimes I'll give myself a rest on a Sunday, but if you can do them every other day, that would be beneficial, I'm sure. And it's about lubricating the joints and helping you for the rest of the day, just to keep supple, keep those joints moving. So we're just going to tap things out. Just going to do some, going to raise up onto your toes, raise onto your toes. 3, 4, 5, 6. So don't take long. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now that's reverse. Legs out in front of you and raise up onto your heels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. As I say, I do apologise about the pictures today. They're not very good quality, but hopefully you get the gist of what we're doing today, and hopefully further ones to come will be a little bit more clearer. Okay, we're going to do some arm raises as we normally do. So up to the sky and back, and double and single and double and single. Okay, out to the sides, lower down to your side of down the side of your arms, raise to your level with your shoulders, and return to the starting position. Raise to your shoulders, return to the starting position. You can even do this standing, so no issues on this one. Okay, we're going to do some shoulder shrugs. Okay, so we're going to go up, go down. We'll do some tension there, if there's any there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. As I say, I know some of these are repeated, but I try and put a little bit of a mix in it just to make it a bit more interesting now and again. So, you know, not all of them are the same. They might start off the same, but please bear with us and see the whole video. There might be something in there you haven't done before. But it's nice to put something in a bit different now and again. Just works a different muscle group, targets a different area, and it makes it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so what we're going to do today, we can go to the sides and touch, to the sides, opposing side and touch, back to the centre, to the side and touch, to the side and touch. If you're standing doing these, if I can demonstrate, because it might be a bit easier, if you're able to stand up, which majority of us are, let's be honest, keep your hands at the side, down towards the knee and up, towards the knee and up. It's basically doing the same thing. And again, you're just stretching the sides here. As they're called, the side obliques here. Known as the love handles very often. So 3 and 4 and 4 and 5. What we do one side, we repeat the other. 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. And while we're in this position, we're going to do some assisted squats. So the chair's behind me to assist me. My hands are going to go out the front. That's just my own preference. You can do them to the side if you want. It's going to go down as far as just touching, only just touching, but not sitting. So not putting your weight on the chair, just literally touching. 2, 3, 4, 5. Think about your core. Keep it steady. Keep it tucked in. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, and 10, and relax, and step it out. You might find that that's pulling a little bit on the quads here, the big muscles at the front of your legs here, your thighs, as you might know them. But again, you know, these are big muscle groups. These big muscle groups need to be kept in prime time, really, and in prime condition, so that we're able to maintain what we want to do every day. So excuse me, I'm getting fluffs off me from somewhere here. But anyway, as I say, I hope you enjoyed this today. It's been a little bit different, a little chat about your portion control. So remember that, increase your water, which will help you keep you fuller. Think about foods that keep you fuller for longer. These foods, as an example, some people say, don't have avocados, they're horrible. They're really fatty. They are, and if you don't use them as a controlled diet, they will add weight. However, what they are good at doing is keeping you fuller for longer. And with that in mind, if you have it with, you know, if you're having it with your full English, I wouldn't advise it. But if you're having it with, to replace, a lot of people will mash it down, for instance, and they'll use it instead of their margarine or butter on the toast. They'll have it like that. Some people will have it just sliced up in salads, or they'll have it with a side of salad and have a smaller portion. And you'll find that as you get used to the texture and taste, it is somewhat desired. Personally, I like it, but not everybody does. I've heard some mixed reviews on this. So, but they're very easy to prepare, and they're not too expensive. They do keep you fuller for longer. I've experienced it myself. So I wouldn't recommend anything I haven't tried. And the same with porridge. Don't buy your processed porridge. Buy it in natural form. It's much cheaper, and it's just as quick. I use the basic sacks, plastic bags, whatever, from your local supermarkets, under £1 for a really big bag full. And then I'll put enough to cover the bottom of a dish. And personally, I use water. You can use hot milk if you prefer, but I find if you put hot water with it, because it produces kind of its own cream, which you'll know what I'm talking about if you prepare it, and you mix it up well, just cover it, leave it for a few minutes. You may need to add some more water to it, and you might even need to add some cold water to it to cool it down a little bit. But if you mix it and allow it to stand, that's your basic control and your basic portion, and then from there you can add. So adding things like banana, fresh fruits, some honey, natural sugars, some grated apple. Recently I've been trying it. My son told me about it. Grated apple and a small spoon of brown sugar, and it makes it a little bit like an apple crumble, like an upside down crumble, but you can mix it through it as well. And personally, I really enjoy it. So, think about what sugars you're adding now, very important. If you can add honey instead of the sugar, well, it's just as good. I have mine usually. You can prepare it the night before if you think it's going to take too long, but to be honest, it takes no longer than doing the microwave porridges. The microwave porridges, you put water to it, you put it in there for a couple of minutes. If you put the porridge in a bowl, you put hot water on it, takes exactly the same time. You don't have to stand there hours cooking it. You don't need to cook it to death, just enough to reconstitute it back into a more edible form. So again, I hope you've enjoyed that little bit of knowledge, and enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all soon. And don't forget, water, lots of it. Okay, enjoy your day. Bye bye.